Welcome back. Oh, you're supposed to be hidden. Oh no. Oh no. Hey guys, that's our guest. Say hi. He's gonna be right back. Welcome back to 4 Geeks by Geeks, the place where geeks come to geek out, and Boser mucks up everything. I had such a good streak of not doing that, Bill, for the longest time. Now, how many days has it been since Boser showed the guest early? 0. Welcome back, if this is your very first Geek Out Sesh. Welcome to the loser table. We saved you a seat. We do this each and every Monday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, live on Twitch. And we get to geek out with a brand new guest. Artists, streamers, cosplayers, photographers, all kinds of geeks, collectors, and tonight's is one of our very first. You're going to find out very much about what he does and what he's been creating in just a few. But until then, I need you to ask yourself the command QOTD question of the day, which is, what is something that you enjoy building? What do you like to build? While y'all are answering that, let me see who's here. We got our favorite Alec, of course, always in the chat. Shout it out to Alec. He just got done playing Gotham Knights for the first time that just released. A little fun, but a little laggy on PC, you say. Boser, you had one shot to look professional. I think I ruined that years ago. If I had one shot, it's gone. Oh, you enjoy building others' self-esteem. Wow. That is the most true and the most cheesy answer I've heard from you tonight. Keep it up. I'm loving it. I'm loving you're here. You build up my self-esteem all the time. But I, for one, loved to build Legos. Shout out to all my Lego builders in the house. I've got it's small, but I've got a TARDIS right here. And it even opens up. It's bigger on the inside. I think I have to pop the roof off. You have to spin it or something. I'm trying to take it apart from the wrong side. I'm going to break this thing. Well, this could be cool and open, but I can't get it to. But I like to build Legos, and even now, my mother-in-law, one of my favorite things she does at Christmas is get me and my brother-in-law a set of Legos. It doesn't matter how old we get, she still does it, and it's like the thing I look forward to most on Christmas Day. Which you'd think family and togetherness would be what you look forward to. No! Legos. Gimme. But I'm excited for you guys to hear what my guest tonight likes to build, because I think it's something that very few of you have ever put together yourselves, and the way that he's doing it and then what he's doing with them is so cool, and I can't wait to hear about it. So I'm tired of waiting in the wings, because I feel like I'm going to have so many questions that there's not even time to waste. So please, y'all, give it up. You saw him once. It's ruined the surprise. But my new friend, Mr. Bill Krause. How are we doing?
We're doing good. How are you? Ooh, we got applause.
That's all the chat. It's not even me. I'm doing great because I'm hanging out with you.
And I appreciate that you build Legos, because that was my first love too.
Was it really?
Yeah.
What was like one of the first Lego sets you remember putting together?
Well, way back when I was building Legos, we didn't have sets. We just had a box of blocks, and you built from that. Mm-hmm. And once my son got into it, then you can buy the kits and build spaceships and things like that. And we still do that as a family, like you mentioned. And we'll stop at the Lego store and just buy a kit and build that as like a puzzle, like at the dining room table, just build something.
Right. It's like family. 4 hours of pure glee.
Yeah. Even like break it apart and like you get the instructions book out and you just you build this, I'll build that.
Except one time my brother-in-law got on the internet and found some micro Legos, like they're teeny, like millimeters big. Yeah. And there's like 1 million of them. And when you put it all together, it can make like an entire Spider-Man, which is really cool. Love Spider-Man. I couldn't see straight, and the instructions are not in English, they're in Japanese. All you have is pictures. And I was about ready to throw my fist through a wall, and I was only on step 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got these big, probably 50-gallon drums filled with Legos, because they've all been divided into, you know, colors. There's a box of just white, a box of just black, and the instruction books are gone. But you know, I have tons of Legos, literally tons of Legos.
So you separate them by color, not by shape.
My son did, and he threw out the instruction books. It's like, well, now how are you gonna make this Mandalorian thing now that the book's gone?
You make it up.
The next challenge. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for the love. We just got somebody, a new follower, subscriber.
Doesn't seem like that long, but a hot damn D.
Yeah, Sprinkler Winkler, thanks, buddy. 4 months you've been a sub. We appreciate you. It flies. Time flies when you're having a good time with your buddies on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So for those that maybe don't know much about you or what you do, tell the folks at home who you are and what you do as a geek.
As a geek, I build starships. That was my hobby. Now it's my kind of career, because I retired from my professional career last month, and so now I can devote my time full time to building mostly Star Trek starships, and for the show, for Star Trek, for Star Trek Picard, which is even more fun.
So you guys can see why I've been so excited about this, and shout out to my wife, Mrs. Boser, for getting us connected, because you both spoke to an art class from my high school. Not at the same time. You had previously been there, and you got to share all this great knowledge that you were about to share with us. And the teacher kind of mentioned it, and then she's like, buddy, dude, talk to this guy. He's willing to talk to you, or to people, and what he's doing is really cool.
That was fun, because she was asking, you know, I was basically recommended to speak to her class because I had some Photoshop background. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I've done some stuff, but for Star Trek. And she's like, I don't think the class is interested in any kind of Star Trek stuff, but what else do you have? So I'm like showing him all these other things I had done for my business, you know, business cards and banners and postcards and things like that. And I said, we'll also do this calendar for Star Trek. And they're like, oh. And so the whole thing became all about Star Trek, and I forgot everything else, but you know,
I can't believe she said that nobody would be interested.
Yeah.
What?
She thought that's all I did with Photoshop, was just cut up pictures of spaceships and put them over a star field. It's like, well, that's one of the things I do, but that's not everything. I mean, in Photoshop, you could do basically whatever you want, but that was all she knew of me at that time. So,
yeah. Okay, so take us back a little bit. You mentioned that building starships was first a hobby, and then it now became a career. So how did you fall into it as a hobby?
Well, I always built models as a kid, and throughout high school, and once I got married and had kids, I got out of the hobby, but got back into it after the kids got out of high school, and I had more free time for myself. And it was something I loved to do. I was always scratch building starships typically, but I built tanks and planes and cars and all of the other things. But what really caught my attention was just being able to scratch build my own thing, my own design out of parts, or sculpting my own components, and just really seeing my design come from paper to finished object, you know, was what I really wanted to do. I wasn't interested in building kits anymore, because I had done that. I really wanted to build something that was unique. It was my own thing, you know. But
thanks for the sub. Let's get rolling.
Let's go.
I was posting things up on my Facebook, and you know, I got noticed by Doug Drexler, who was a big Star Trek designer. He worked on TNG and Voyager and Deep Space Nine and Enterprise, and I think even on Orville.
Okay.
But he was putting together an annual Star Trek ships of the line calendar, and this is where people were compositing mostly 3D rendered images of starships over some kind of wacky space background. And I was kind of doing that with my ships. I was taking photographs of my models that were built and finished, and compositing over a star field and posting on my Facebook. And he said, "Well, do you mind doing one for the calendar?" I go, "Sure." So that was like 2015 or so, and I've been doing it every year since then for Doug. And then I also, through Doug, knew John Eves, who, of course, I don't know if you know John Eves, but he designed the Enterprise E, used in the movies, and he also worked on Enterprise and all those other shows, and
Okay.
in the movies too, the new current films, as well as Discovery and Dick Picard and Strange New Worlds, that new Enterprise, that's his design. But he and I became kind of friends, and he had asked me one day to like put together a portfolio for Picard season 1, because they were thinking about designing ships for the show, and he really liked my stuff. And so I did a portfolio, and of course, I don't know if you saw Picard season 1, but there's no starships at all. Right at the end, there's one ship, but it's a copy and paste fleet.
And I told you before we got started that I'm going to embarrass myself with my lack of Star Trek knowledge. So feel free to break down and dumb down anything that you're talking about.
Okay.
I've got minimal knowledge, and I know the shape of the Enterprise. And what I see from other photos that we'll share in a bit, it seems like a kind of similar shape. So I'm interested to know more about that. But no, I have not seen all of Picard.
That's all right. Neither have I.
But you've done work for it,
right? And then since I didn't do season 1, when season 2 rolled around, it was a different showrunner, different whole production staff, and they were once again directed to me because they still have my portfolio, and they were looking for ideas. And actually, they wanted me to build models for the set as on-screen props in the ready room on the new ship, the Stargazer. In the back wall of the lounge, there's like these gold-plated models of the legacy ships that were all named Stargazer. So they knew that I was a model builder, and I could do that. And so they asked me to build those, as well as design a new one, which would have been a predecessor, the first to bear the name Stargazer. So I could actually to design a ship and then build it as well. And
so cool.
It's a scene in one episode for about a second in the dark, 50 feet away behind Jerry Ryan's head. Okay. And it's gone like that. Like, I probably spent 3 months on this, and that was my little blip of fame.
You need to clip that blip and put it on a poster and hang it over your fireplace.
Yeah. But season 3 rolled around, and they're like, "Hey, we need some more ships. We want you to build more ready room ships as well, but we also want you to design some ships." I go, "Well, I can do that." So they took Terry Metalis, who's the showrunner for Picard season 2 and 3. He liked one of my designs I had done years ago called the Shangri-La, which is one of my first scratch-built models that I'd come up with. And he wanted to buy the model. I had sold it to a friend of mine a few years ago. So I started to build him another one. I think while I was working on season 2.
Okay.
And then was one Saturday night, I got an email from Dave Blass, who's a production designer, and he attached in the email a photograph of the model. I was working for Terry. He says, "Hey, are you working on this?" I go, "Yeah, that's my picture. So can you mock this up with some new engines?" And Terry wants to see what this looks like. I go, "Oh, okay." So I did that night, mocked up in Photoshop, and then emailed it back to Dave. And then Sunday morning, I got a reply from Dave saying, "Okay, we're good to go on that." And I'm like, "Good to go."
What does that mean?
Well, what do you mean? Where we go? So this is gonna be the new hero ship for season 3. Really? Oh, okay. That's cool. And it's like, "Okay, can we have the 3D file of this so we can get it in production for visual effects and start building on-screen graphics and blueprints and building the set?" And I'm like, "This is a hand-built model. I just."
Yeah, I don't have 3D renderings.
There's no 3D files of this anywhere. I mean,
and hold on, we're going to pause real quick and just show some love to all these new people that are just coming in. Thank you so much to Team Drew's Basement. Welcome for your first time hanging out. Hasbro, good to see you again. Sneaky Smarties. We're here with Bill Krause, who is a Starship artist who's literally designed ships used on Star Trek. And so he's walking us through how he started from it being just a hobby to getting noticed by some of the team, and now He's telling us how he's literally creating the next hero ship. So then what did you do? Because you just had the actual physical model of the ship. So then what?
Yeah, it was all scratched up by hand. And so I had to take a bunch of pictures of it. And we got Doug Drexler involved because he had been building all the concept ships initially for visual effects digitally. And so he already had the Stargazer engines from season 2, which this one shared. So, and I was leaving that day, that Monday, to go to Colorado to spend a month on another film project. So I couldn't even do it. So I had to take a bunch of pictures, send it to Doug, so he can, basically rebuild the Shangri-La based on my photographs and add the new engines and other things. And then away it went. And he had like a week to do it because it was like rush. And I would see kind of updates every now and then. And it hadn't changed much since the initial kind of mock-up of, because Terry liked that look. It was a 23rd century starship that I had designed, which 23rd century is the TOS, the original series group, Kirk, Spock, that gang, but motion picture era. So this ship looked like it would have fit like Star Trek 1, the motion picture, or The Wrath of Khan. So it's kind of that kind of Art Deco looking ship. And here it is in the 25th century now with new engines. It's like, okay, that's what you want. That's what you're gonna get. And if you've seen the trailer for Star Trek or for Picard season 3, that's what it is. And it's a retro looking ship, and people are like, what's that doing in the 25th century? Like, that's what they wanted.
So true fans will know the difference. Is any of these folders that you had sent, is that one of the ship you're talking about, or can I easily find it on the Instagram?
Yeah, I put them in a specific folder for you.
The Stargazers?
That was season 2.
I just want to be able to show people this amazing work that you're talking about, but because I'm such a dunce, I'm not sure which is which.
Sure. There's 3 folders. One says Tycho ships. That's just all my, starships. And then there's one called Picard Titan. That's season 3 stuff. That's what I'm talking about now with the Shangri-La.
Okay. And then we're going to show this.
Picard Stargazers is the season 2 stuff, the gold-plated stuff.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about, y'all. These are the kind of models that you're putting together. And before you used a term scratch build, meaning that these aren't kits. These are things that you're literally just creating and piecing together.
For the most part, yeah.
So which of these ships are we talking about right now?
So you need to go back into the root folder of Tycho ships for interview, and go to the middle one. Says Picard Titan.
Okay.
And this is the
there she is.
Ship with the Shangri-La, which was the ship I originally designed back in 2015, and that is what I sold eventually to a friend of mine. And that's what Terry liked, and I started to rebuild this for him, what I called the Mark II version. And that was it right there. That's what I was making for Terry. And you can see it's scratched with it's plastic. It's sheet styrene. You've got cast resin parts, like the secondary hull there. The middle part is just it's resin. It's solid.
And how are you creating these pieces? When you say scratch build, like, are you hand crafting them with your hands or printing them? How does this even work?
It's all hand built. The engines are an aftermarket part that I can buy. They're cast resin.
That's what these are?
Yeah. The saucer at the front there, that's a model part. That's the original Enterprise model that I've taken and cut up.
Okay.
And then I built the whole back section out of sheet styrene.
Okay.
All that white stuff. And then the secondary hull, which combines everything, that's a cast resin piece. I had some molds made when I first built it years ago, and it was just cast out of a 2-part resin. And it's assembled over a brass armature. So it's like a brass skeleton that runs throughout the whole model, through the pylons of the engine, so it stays rigid. And there's you can see the post there. Yeah, that last photo shows that I was mocking up those are the new engines you see on top there. So I took the picture, photoshopped, I cut it out that engine, and then pasted over those older engines. And that's what I sent to them for their approval.
How did you even learn how to cast resin and put this together?
Oh, you pick all that stuff up as you're, just years and years of working on stuff, scratch building and working with plastic. And before I even got into 3D printing, the only thing you can do to replicate things was to master a part and make a mold and cast duplicates of it. So you weren't making the same part over and over again. Before the days of 3D printing, this was how you mass produced parts, was by casting, and very easy to do.
Yeah, for you maybe easy for you now.
It takes a while to do it, and this photo here shows the Titan on the right and the older Shangri-La on the left. And as part of the legacy wall of the new Titan, they used the old original Shangri-La as the first one to be named Titan. So they got to reuse that model for the show, and that was kind of fun. So both of these ships now are canon.
That is so cool that a ship that you literally designed is now canon ships.
This is from the show,
right?
Here. This is the screen grab from one of the trailers that Leave Space Tech. This is the visual effects model all lit up and looking good there.
Okay, so walk us through the process. They want you to design a ship. You design the ship, you give them the model, they're happy with it. And then what happens to it next, other than like that one that was a prop in the back of a scene? Like, does it then rendered for these visual effects, or is it a practical effect ever where they're literally using that model to create the scene?
No, the practical models are only used as the on-set prop, and
okay,
they're 2 foot tall, gold-plated things. They're just stuck to the wall, and they're only there on set for the photography. This stuff here, that's a visual effect with using a digital model for all the visual stuff that you see the ship flying in space or going through warp like this. That's a digital model that was built by Doug, and then sent through probably several other people who texturize it, add more detail, add lights, and it goes through many steps to get it to where you see it. Many artists.
That's wild. I love that it's such a collaboration. You take one piece and then you have to pass it on to the next who adds a piece and pass it on. And so nothing is ever one person's baby, right? It's all a piece of it. You raised it together.
Yeah, I had like 1% to do with it at the very beginning. So this is my ship, and then you give it to them, and off it goes. And then they do what they want with it. This one here is the mock-up I sent to Terry and Dave.
Oh my God. We did have a question in the chat from Oceana. She goes, I apologize if I missed this, but do you have a favorite model that you created or one you're most proud of?
Probably the Endurance. It's probably my largest project. It's a big 4 foot long custom design thing that I built. Took like a year and a half to build it.
Wow.
And
is that on your
photos of that? It's back in the Tycho ship folder.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see where to find this guy. Scroll down. You'll see Endurance right there. It's on the fantail. You see the lights. Yep, you're right there. Slide to the left. Nope,
this
that's
guy.
the shuttlecraft. That guy. That's the front view of it.
Okay.
And to the left of that is side view, and then the engines to the left of that. I should have named these. They were just numbers, but
no, it's fun. That's a lot. You shared a lot. Is it? I'm just looking for like a full view of it. Is it this one?
No, that's the Reliant.
How can you tell them apart? I mean,
I can tell apart.
It's like your children, I guess.
Scroll down the other direction. See the bigger view of this thing.
I want you laying next to it.
Because they're all like, they're all gray over a black background, so they are going to look. Yeah, the very bottom there, those. Actually, keep going. You'll see it composed.
I've reached the bottom.
Over the, you're right there. Click
this
on
one?
that guy. Yep.
Okay.
This was a composite that I created for the Ships of the Line calendar. And that's the ship. As you can see, it fairly big there. But
it's huge.
The shuttlecraft is also a scale model. Both these are, and there's this composite over this fake background.
And so that whole thing, like the ship is 4 feet long, you said?
Yep. And the shuttlecraft's like 2 feet.
Oh, I think during the starting soon screen, you have a shuttlecraft in your hand. Is it that one? In one of those photos?
That's the one. Yeah.
With your magnification glasses.
I built that first, and it says it's attached to the endurance. So it's kind of, when I built it, I was kind of built it as an incentive because I already had the endurance in mind to build that shuttlecraft, or to build the mothership. And it was just like sketches at that time, but I figured I'd build a shuttlecraft, and I name it as being part of the endurance that, you know, I have to build a ship eventually.
You've got to. So why is this the one you're most proud of? Just because it's the largest? It took the most time?
Yeah. This right, you're looking at the bell map right now, but
or the one I had previous looked at.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy.
Mm-hmm. It was just such a large an endeavor, and it was like the first one I really got into 3D printing too, because it's mostly styrene and over a brass structure, and it's got interior modules and a full hangar bay. It's got a chase lights down the middle of the deck, and it's got 2 hangar bays and interior Oasis modules, and it's just full of stuff, and it's, you know, it's a monster.
Wild. And is there a reason that you've been drawn to particularly Star Trek starships?
Probably because I just see it as like a void where there's a lot of people doing what I'm doing, and I feel like, gosh, there's so much I can be doing in this arena, and I have so many ideas that I want to get out before I'm bored with it, because I'm living in this era of Star Trek where it's like between the original series and like the motion picture era.
Okay.
Like this kind of unknown, unseen era of starship design, and I just like that because that's where I grew up in Star Trek, and I always wanted to see more than just the Enterprise. I always imagined there were other ships out there, and this is me, you know, filling in those blanks with these designs of things that I wish you could have seen.
And I've always appreciated the design of these ships because they're not like what you would think, I guess, when I think of like a starship or a space shuttle. It doesn't look like these. Like, there is so much more design behind these. But do you know where that original like big saucer twin engine kind of design came from? What's behind that?
Oh, Matt Jeffries designed that for the show, the original series, and I'm not sure what his influence was at the time, but and I remember I have a folder full of his sketches, and it's been published. He had all sorts of different things with these like tubular nacelles and a saucer in different configurations, and until they landed on one that they liked. But I think the majority of the sketches were, you know, cylinders and saucers and arranged in various components, and I think there was a ball at one point. There was like a sphere,
like a Death Star.
Like I think they did a retro version of that in Next Generation for like a medical ship, but called the Pasteur, using that sphere as the hull. And
no, but these are amazing. How many models have you made at this point in your life, if you had to try to put a number on them?
Well, the new ships that I build now, every ship has a project number assigned to it. Once they're commissioned, you know, I give it a number so I can keep track of things. I think I'm like up to 63 now, and that's just the ships I've built in the last, you know, 5-6 years.
Wow.
A lot of them are smaller ones that I've built, because these big ones can take months to build.
Okay, but this is a picture that I saw a long time ago, and I've always wondered what's going on here. And this might be a little off topic, but because I'm scrolling your Instagram, Admiral Buck, go follow him on Instagram as well as Twitter. You can use command Star Trek just because it's a little easier and just take you straight to his Twitter. But it's a great photo. What is happening?
This is me in film school at Ohio State University, working at an Oxbury animation stand. It's a computer-controlled camera and platen, where it's filming your artwork, backlit artwork, on the table, and the camera is controlled frame by frame to either zoom in or zoom out of a title, a backlit artwork, and I think this is shot on 16 millimeter, but it was one of my independent study courses was a computer-controlled animation. Well, we're still doing it on film the old-fashioned way. And so like 1980, 87, 86, 86.
I think you even say in the caption, 88. Shooting
88,
60 millimeter backlit titles on computer-controlled Oxbury animation stand. 88. So then you've always been interested in these effects in film and this kind of thing.
As a kid, I was making Super 8 movies in my basement of Star Wars ships and Battlestar Galactica over like a black seamless like velvet backdrop with little rhinestones for stars. And
Cool.
I built this like a camera track using model railroad HO layout, HO scale tracks. Built a little platform, put my camera on, and it would roll the camera, past the model. Because I was looking at photos in these magazines of how ILM was doing all their motion control shots of like X-wings and things like that. And I go, I can do that. I'm like 12 years old. Like I can build that. I can do that. And that's what got me kind of into scratch building too, because I was seeing how they were building these models for Star Wars. They would just take a big piece of plexiglass, like a Star Destroyer, a big triangle, and then coat it with model parts and paint it all one color. And that was, a Starship. That was, boom, you're done.
Yeah.
Just take a 2x4, cover with glue, and roll through a bunch of plastic parts, paint it one color, and gosh, that's a spaceship.
That's art.
That's art.
No, but I love that even at 12 years old and probably prior to that, you kind of had a vision of this thing that you wanted to do and you wanted to create. And you did it. You're doing it. What would you go back and tell 12-year-old self if you could right now?
Don't stop. Just keep. There's so few hours in the day to do what I want to do. It's just I got more ideas than time, and the thing is just don't stop, because the minute you stop, you get complacent. It's like, oh, I've done it. Like, no, you haven't. There's so much. And what I'm doing is just scratching the tip of the iceberg, because I could be doing so many more different designs and different eras of Star Trek and different types of ships and things, or even more in Star Wars or other genres. Just create my whole different aesthetic completely and call it whatever I want to, and not be associated. But I like this because there's some fan attachment to this, and people like what I'm doing. It's kind of encouraging, and I'm encouraging them to do this stuff. And if I just created just my own junk, there wouldn't be as much interest, I don't think, if people like, that's cool. But it's like, we like Star Wars, we like Star Trek, we like Battlestar, we like, Boba Fett. That's what they like, and they want to see things that are like that, and that's fine. So do I. I want to see more of that stuff, and so it's a good way of connecting with people when you're sharing a genre and a style. It's almost. And
Sorry, as you're speaking, it's almost reminding me of the same reason why a lot of people cosplay. It's like they have a connection to something that they're fanning about, whether it's a character that they can dress up as from that fandom, like you rebuilding a ship from the fandom, or building something that could be in the world, like an original character, just like some of your original ships, but it still has that Star Trek connection.
Yeah.
So this is the brass inside.
Right, that's the one that I'm currently working on. And this is a big one. This is another big 350 scale.
Wow.
TOS era, my own design, heavy cruiser. This is going to be about 33 inches long when it's done.
Wow.
And but you can see this got a fairly hefty brass armature. And this, when you're building from scratch, you can't rely on parts to just assemble themselves and hold themselves together. So you have to build a skeleton first that you would basically hang the parts on, and this will make sure that everything is aligned. And then the cells are always the pylons are always very spindly on Star Trek ships. So you have to reinforce them with metal, otherwise they're gonna fall over, because
pop off.
You hold up all those weight. These giant cylinders of the cells are gonna they weigh, and when we put lights in it, it's gonna weigh even more. So
my favorite thing is these binder clips holding it together.
Yeah, that was only temporary.
So then, do you have to sketch all this out, or are you using AutoCAD? Like, you're using so many engineering skills all at once for these models.
I'm designing these in SketchUp, which was a program that I learned to use in my other job, designing sets. I was a video producer, and we're designing a lot of full-size sets. And SketchUp was great for that because you can go to the warehouse and pull cabinets and doors and windows and all within scale. So I was learning how to design things in real world size in 3D using that software. And I got bored one day. I thought, I wonder what else can I do with this program? So I started designing ships in it. And I go, this is cool. I mean, because you can start to see in 3 dimensions your ship rather than just drawing on paper. And you can, you know, as you're moving around in 3D space, you can arrange things differently very quickly, scale things in proportion, like you make the engines shorter or longer, changes the diameter of the hull. So it looks good from all angles. And then once you got that down, then I would print out like an orthographic blueprint that I would then build from. And then later on, now currently, I will now print from that model. And that's a whole nother thing where it has to be broken apart and engineered to be printed, to be hollow, punch out windows so that they're open, and then creating tabs and things so parts interlock with each other. Like you're basically building and designing a model kit at this point. You're not just printing a solid object. You basically taking each component, breaking it down, splitting it up so it fits in the printer, as well as being hollow. So if you want to light it, you've got room for lighting and for windows and things that are transparent. And that's a pain in the ass.
I bet. Like those are tiny windows.
Yeah.
How is 3D? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's the longest process after designing a ship is going through the model and making it printable. And I'm relying on other guys to help me out with this. And this can take months and months to do. And
like, how has 3D printing changed this game for you? And has it changed it in a more meaningful way, or do you miss having to craft them all by hand?
Well, it's more time consuming because I now have to rely on other people, or it was just me. And I can, if I knew I needed something, I can make it right now. And it's there, it's done. Now, if I got to make it 3D, I've got to go into my computer, I've got to design it, figure out how to print it, export it, send it to somebody else to fix it, and he's got to print it, send it back to me, and it could take weeks to get a part back when I normally I can have it done that afternoon. But now it's going to be made perfectly the way I want it to if it's a very intricate part. And now you can combine parts into larger sub-assemblies rather than making it one at a time. You can build, you know, into much larger things.
Right. How many parts, if you had to 3D print each piece, like how many pieces are we talking about? How many Legos?
It depends on the size of the printer and how big a part you can manage. But, you know, the less parts, the better. That way we're not having, that's the whole reason for 3D printing is so I don't have to glue all these parts together. I can make it as big as part as I want, but you need to at least split it in half so you can get into it. Like, say a hull, you want it a left and right half that you can glue together, but it's
so almost like this.
Yes. But, you know, imagine each of those parts in 2 pieces. So
yeah. Okay, that makes
it. About.
I think we're having some lag and we're talking over each other, so I only apologize. Go ahead, please.
Like what you're looking at there is the endurance, and each of those engines are about 28 inches long. So they're divided probably into about 5 sections that all fit together.
Oh, okay.
There's probably 30 parts per engine. That's a model kit just in itself.
Yeah.
Just the engine.
So you would never just print half the ship and put it together like this.
No,
really,
I mean,
it'd be like 30 pieces for an engine and another 100 for the hull.
We need a fairly big printer to be able to do it in one batch. We are using a pretty big printer at Adam Savage's shop in Oakland. He works. A buddy of mine works at Tested, and he works on The Mandalorian, so he's got access to some pretty big stuff.
This is so cool. You had mentioned earlier that you had to step away from Star Trek while they took your model to the next steps to work on another film. What other kind of film and television have you worked on other than Star Trek?
I worked on an independent film called T-, and it's was a kind of a pseudo-fictional 1960s Mercury mission, and we built basically the entire launch platform in 1/24th scale. You know, I built the rocket and the launch pad and a launcher, and other guys built other components, and we shot this thing in 2 weeks in last December. Actually, there's a picture of it right there in the middle. You can see the rocket, and you're getting now to some of the rocket
Over
stuff.
here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Here it is
cool.
being shown in flight. We show it on the launch pad, but once it's in motion, we turn it sideways and we do a pass where it flies by, or the camera flies by, so it looks like it's taken off. And
Cool.
we simulated on the hull or the skin, the kind of the ice that forms on it from the liquid oxygen fuel that's loaded into it. And it's just spray snow we put on that.
That is so cool. I am always a big fan of practical effects. Like
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
we are. Love that
I
stuff.
love watching the movies that still use those, and especially now, where so many things are computer generated and digitized, and I love to see practical effects continue. Talk to me about that a little bit. Like, I'm sure you've got a hot take on the like future of these effects, and it's almost like a dying art, but
It is, yeah. I mean, it's nice to see. I mean, you know, Mandalorian has used a couple of practical models, and if they're done nice and you know, they look fantastic. Yeah, but there's limitations to what you can do with them.
Sure.
Obviously, you can do a lot more with a digital asset than you would a practical model. But
right. But there's
Yeah.
something tangible, and I don't know. I guess it's all art, right? Like it's
Yeah.
either digital art, it's practical art, but it's something.
I think people just want to know that it's real.
Yeah.
And if they see something, they know that that's just fake, but they know that it's a real thing, whether it's scale or not. You know, then it's like, oh, it feels more real. But
Like the fact that starships do exist, they're just this big, and in your basement, it doesn't matter. They still exist, and it's possible, because if you can make one at
Right.
that scale, then maybe, just maybe, we can have a real Star Trek Enterprise flying out of here.
that's what my favorite movie miniatures is probably the motion picture Enterprise refit. You know, because it was a very large scale model and shot beautifully. You know, and when you see it on screen, it's like, you know, it's a model and it's real, and the detail is just fantastic. And
Yeah, that's what I'm just godsmacked about, is all the detail on all of these. Like, how?
that's all of those ships photographed together at the same time. I'm like, I'm on a ladder shooting down on them.
Oh, really?
It's a piece of black velvet. They give a sense of scale. These are all ships in the same scale, but this is how big the Endurance is compared to the other ships. The Hood, which is above the Endurance, that's like a standard Enterprise size ship. So you can see just how much bigger the Endurance is than that. And then there's the Repulse, which is behind the Hood. That's a destroyer. And then in the lower right corner is the Sentinel, which is a light cruiser. And then the very small one is an Archer class scout.
I just love it.
I'm filling out, you know, like the Tycho fleet. So you've got,
Okay.
you know, you got a big ship, you got medium ships, you got little ships, and you got even little ships. So, you know, they all fill different roles and missions, and you know, they're not all the Enterprise.
Who needs an Enterprise when you got these? Okay, so you mentioned earlier that as soon as you get bored, you have to go on to the next step, and you've always got something cooking in your brain. Where does that come from? Like that unending creativity? Because for me, I would think it would dry up for me. Like I would design a few things. I'm like, okay, I check that off. Because I don't have this brain in my head that is clearly in yours. So I want to know what it's like to have that brain in your head.
I don't know, when you come up with an idea for a ship, at least for me, I mean, I have a million ideas for that specific ship, and I keep all those ideas, whether they're sketches or they're some sort of reference photograph of something that inspires me. And I may not use all those ideas, but
Mm-hmm.
there's enough stuff there that will spawn another ship and another ship and another ship. So it's like this never-ending ball of ideas and concepts that just keep evolving from one ship to the next. All these different iterations of things and combinations of different things that you didn't quite use all of them on one ship, but you can save some of them for the next one. So, and then eventually along the line, we'll be inspired by other things that throw in the mix. So it's a continuous, snowball that just kind of rolls and rolls and rolls, and it gets either bigger or smaller depending on how much you use out of it. But
It's always rolling.
I like to keep it rolling because I got a lot of ideas.
Where do you pull your inspiration?
A lot of it comes from other science fiction, or even aircraft and automotive design and other spacecraft stuff. But I'm very much inspired by a lot of mid-century design, and 2001: A Space Odyssey is something that I pull a lot from and try to infuse into my Star Trek. So my Star Trek is a little mix of 2001 and Star Trek, and that's where Tycho comes from. Is Tycho was the TMA-1, the monolith that they find on the moon, was found on the crater of Tycho, and in my fictional universe, that is where my shipyard lives, is on the crater of the moon.
Oh, okay. See, I just thought Tycho was something already established. I didn't realize that was your own little baby fleet. That's cool.
That's my fictional shipyard.
And you even designed a logo for it. I love that.
Of course.
So then what's a day in the life of Bill Krause look like? Let's say that you've got something being commissioned from Star Trek, plus all the other insane ideas in your head.
Mm-hmm.
What's it look like?
It's a busy day. I mean, it's even being retired, I think I'm busy now more than I was before. And I like to build one project at a time and one commission at a time, just so I can concentrate on it and get it done. Otherwise, if I split my attention, then that project slows down. Mm-hmm. And so I like to get one done as quickly as I can, so I can start at the next one. But there are overlaps of things happening. And of course, when CBS calls and they need something, they need it like yesterday. So you basically have to drop whatever you're doing and get it done, because you don't say no to CBS Paramount if they want something.
No.
It's always something they need like tomorrow. That would normally take anybody like 3 weeks to do, but they need it tomorrow. So you drop everything and you do it, because you'll never know if they'll not ask you again. So you say yes and do it.
Yeah, you say yes, get it done, stop your life.
Yeah. But I could be working on decal art while things are drying in the shop. I could be designing in 3D while things are being printed. Or working on digital art for the next Ships of the Line calendar. So I'm always on the computer, or I'm back on my workbench, or I'm outside blowing leaves, because I've got a ton of leaves out there, let me tell you, and they're falling like leaves.
They tend to do that every year.
They tend to do that, yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
So it's all about balance is what I'm hearing, and making the most of your time when you have it.
Exactly, and I'd like to make every minute of my day count. And I keep a daily diary, and so I can keep track of the hours I put into each of my projects. So I can estimate when someone else asks, how much will this cost to build? I can look at my diary. Well, a similar ship took X hours and it costs this much. So I'm not just pulling numbers out of the sky. I have an idea of how long it takes to do stuff. And they're asking for, say, a motion picture ship versus a TOS era ship. There's a big difference. Just in painting, because if you're going to paint an Aztec pattern, that's going to take you weeks to do, as opposed to just putting a decal that says NCC 1701. Oh, I'm done. And you basically painted the ship gray, and that's your TOS ship. If you want a motion picture enterprise, that's 3 or 4 weeks of masking and painting and masking and painting and thousands of decals, because those things are super intricate.
Very, because all those windows and all those things aren't always lights. A lot of times they're decals, right?
This Belknap up here.
This one?
That one was, click that guy. And this one is painted in a 5-color pearlescent, what they called, the original motion picture enterprise was done in this iridescent paint job.
Yeah.
And the client wanted this specifically for this one. And this is 150 hours of painting, just paint the thing.
Yeah. I'm seeing so many different facets of color.
It's a base color of gray, and then there's like a gold, blue, a green, and red pattern iridescence on it. Yeah, all over the whole thing. And because once you pull a mask up and you paint something, you got to put that mask back over it and then paint another color, put another mask over it, paint another color, peel that one up, paint something else, put 2 more masks down, paint that. It's like, I said, never again. I'm not doing it this way. But I just finished an Enterprise, which I did. Also an Aztec, but not in this crazy pearlescent. I just did it in a 2-color, and it looks just as good, I think. But 100 hours less work to do.
And when you say Aztec, you're talking about, I think we passed some. It's kind of like that black and white.
Yeah, that was the paint mask.
Okay.
It's like a pattern that's over the whole ship, and it's really, really intricate. But it adds to the level of detail that they had to do for the motion picture, to make the ship look, larger than it was on screen, as opposed to like what you saw on television. Yeah,
would this be considered kind of Aztec-y?
Yeah, and luckily that was just a decal.
Oh, really?
Like one decal you lay over top of the whole.
That's lucky.
Model. It's like this big, and so that was easy to do. And it's just just a decal. Actually, Terry bought this one. That's the Excalibur.
Oh yeah.
And that was a concept model. I just kind of threw together. I just took a model of the Enterprise and kind of chopped it all up and just kind of on the fly just made something up. I had no sketches. I just wanted to build something quick and dirty and some ideas in my mind. And, sometimes you just want to not have to design something. You just want to get in your workbench, just put something together as quickly as you can because you had an idea and you want to put it together. And this is that. And it's not great, but,
What? It says different. You? I love that this is quick and dirty for you. Meanwhile, this is like the most intricate thing I've ever seen in my life.
Very loose. This is Renegade model building right there.
And I'm just thinking of all the people trying to listen to this as a podcast and wanting to see what we're talking about. So y'all normal podcast listeners, I should have warned you at the start. This might be a YouTuber one. You might need to go back and watch or just be scrolling on Admiral Buck on his Instagram or Twitter while you listen, because you need to see this magic that you're creating, and it's like nonstop. I can't believe we're not even close to halfway through your feed right now. We've been scrolling for like an hour.
Oh.
It never stops. So with such creativity, like where do you see this going for you in like the next 5 years, 10 years? What's your goal?
That's a good question. I haven't looked that far ahead. I'm hopeful that I'm still around. So my goal is just to keep going until I can't. And I've got a list now of about 18 months out of people with commission requests.
Wow, really?
So people asking now for commissions, I just have to say sorry, unless you want to get on the wait list. But if you want it tomorrow, you gotta wait till at least 2024. And
are these like collectors commissioning these mostly, or is it the TV series? And
no, mostly collectors.
Okay.
A lot of the models I had built prior to starting the commission work, all those got sold last year. Once I closed my studio downtown, I had no place for them, so I started putting them up for sale, and they were just going like that till they're all gone.
I bet collectors just go crazy over these.
But I didn't start commission work till I think 2019, and I started initially. I was requested by a company to build them the Reliant, which you saw, as their prototype for a line of desktop models they were going to put out. They were licensed by Paramount, and that got me on the radar to be doing commission work. I thought, I can do this, and private people have been contacting me and asking for things to be built. And this is not for everybody. Not everybody can afford a hand-built custom model. People are always surprised when they ask and they think they're getting an Eagle Moss toy or some kind of Diamond Select thing from China. It's like, this is not a toy. You're buying
artwork.
artwork, I guess you call it, because they're one-offs.
For context, are you willing to share like what your models might run for?
Oh, they all vary depending on what it is. I mean, in scale, I mean, it's a wide range. It can go from 500 to, thousands of dollars. But 500 is probably the lowest. And I mean, for me, worth my time. It's basically just to build like an out-of-box small kit that I can build like within a week. And then they go up from there. If you want lights in it, that's going to add, probably another 1,500 right off the bat, because that changes the whole ball of wax for any model. So now you have to run wires and lights and a stand and a power supply. That changes the whole thing. Whereas if it's just an out of the box build, you can build that in a day, glue it together, and you're painting it the next day. After lighting it, then you got to plan all the lighting, get all that ready, and that could take weeks of assembling.
Yeah.
Then you start building it and then painting it and detailing it. And so that lighting right off the bat just adds exponentially 4 weeks to a project.
Yeah. But there's an audio on TikTok and Reels that I keep hearing from a lot of creators, and I'm going to butcher it. I can't remember exactly, so I don't know why I even started the story in the first place, but it's basically like, yeah, this shit costs a lot of money because it takes a lot of time. And so it's worth the money because you are taking all of your genius up here and pumping it into this creation, this one-of-a-kind creation. And so it doesn't matter how much it costs. It's worth it.
I hope so.
And I hope that the people working with you, they feel that too. Like, do you run into many people who are like, what? How much? No way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, usually it's... if they ask for something and I give them the price, nine times out of 10, it's just silence.
Yeah.
I don't hear anything like, no, thank you, or I'm sorry. It's just nothing. It's like, that's not very polite. But most of the people who buy stuff from me, I mean, I have a lot of repeat guys who they like what I'm making, and they had no problem adding to their collection. And these are dedicated guys who support me, and I thank them so much for it. But yeah, and they keep me very, very occupied and busy. And
I bet
they let me have the freedom to design what I like to do, and I like their input as well. And it's just great collaborating with guys who are into the thing I like to do.
And thank you, Cantina. Yeah, that's it. It cost this much because it took me effing hours.
It's like, I don't ask you how much you make an hour.
Right.
Don't tell me how much I should be charging an hour,
And you can't do what I'm doing, so that's what you're paying me for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are here with Bill Krause, Starship artist. Commissions are open if you want to wait for...
Kinda.
2 years. Commissions are kind of open.
Yeah. If you want to get on the list, I guess. But yeah. I wish it wasn't so, but.
When you're good at what you do, that's what happens, Bill.
Yes.
Just work faster. Why can't you just do that? Just make them faster.
Clone myself? Yeah. Can I just 3D print another one of me?
Yeah, there you go. If you can make Starships, you can make another Bill Krause. But Alec did drop the command Star Trek, which takes you to Bill's Twitter, and he said that's what you're most active on recently.
Yeah. Mostly Twitter and a little bit on Facebook. Depends who's being friendly at the time,
Yeah. Which in this day and age is getting shorter or smaller list. But Jeff says, hey, having a waitlist means you're just that good at what you do.
I would hope so.
Clearly. I mean, I've just been drooling, wiping off my chin this entire evening, looking at all this amazing work that you've done, and you're nowhere even close to being done. It's still flowing in your mind, and I just think it's really incredible, and I'm grateful that you are sharing your work with us tonight.
Oh, it's great to be here. You'll notice that these are all just Federation ships. I have not built a Klingon ship yet, ever. So that's something else I still want to do.
Get on it, Bill.
Get into, but
What are you doing? Sitting on your hands?
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. Come back on when you have a Klingon.
I know. Actually,
Okay.
I opened up the box the other day and looked at it. I go, I want to do this, but I have all these other things waiting in the wings. I have to, do that first. So,
But I've seen this picture, and maybe I'm not understanding how legitimate this is. Were you on Star Trek?
no.
But
This is like 1986, and I was in a Star Trek fan club called Starfleet, and a group of us all got these uniforms made, and this one was made by a local tailor. He did a wonderful job.
That's so cool.
And the pins, I still have this. It still fits actually, but the pins are actually from Paramount. A friend of mine knew a guy who had been making these for the movies, and so I got the real pins. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome. You definitely looked the part.
And I had hair. Yeah, I'm like 20, 22.
We all are in our
like
prime at 22.
Yeah, 86. Okay, yeah,
86.
20, 22. Yeah.
Well, it still looks great. Dust that out for special occasions.
Yeah.
But I have loved hanging out with you, and we're not even done because we've just been drooling over all of your work. But it's that time of the night where we get a little funky, we get a little silly, and we're going to see how well you've been able to soak in all of this Star Trek knowledge. And you at home can play with us too. Unless you're watching this back, then we already played and you missed it. But stop by on a Twitch Monday night, 8:30, and you can play with us. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do a little Star Trek trivia playing a Kahoot. So if you want to join us, scan the QR code with your phone, or you can go to kahoot.it and put in that game pin. And we're going to see how well all of us know anything about Star Trek. I did not play test any of these trivia, so if it's all garbage, don't blame me. I only host this thing. How well do you think you know Star Trek, Bill?
Probably not well enough. I mean, you ask me a ship question, I might know, but if you ask me, some kind of story question from Deep Space Nine, I'm like, Defiant. That's my answer.
Got it. So it really is about the models for you, huh?
Yeah, it always has been. It's like those are my characters, those are who I follow,
I love that.
Let's see if I...
Everybody needs a fan, including the ships. Ooh, okay, we have a new challenger approaches. We've got Boser's boss. I hope he's not here tonight. Spock monster. Okay, I'll give you a few more minutes or a few more seconds. We ain't got time to waste. We'll see. We'll probably do a couple quizzes. I don't want to waste Bill's time. He's got so many ideas. But I'm thrilled that you're hanging with me, Bill.
Yeah, I'm trying to load the app for this Kahoot thing.
Oh, you went and got the app, huh?
Well, I wasn't sure if it was going to work without it, so I decided to download it.
Do I even have it? I don't even have it. I don't even have it.
Do I need it?
You don't need it. You can use a browser.
It says I'm in. It says you're in.
Yeah,
but,
it should look like this.
If it... Okay.
You can't see that, sorry. Okay, let's see how we do with this first batch. And then if you guys come in, you want to jump in the next one, you've got time. I think there's like 20 questions, so let's see how we do. So you use your phone as a gamepad, and you'll pick the answer from your phone. But you'll have to look at your computer screen for what answer you're picking, because I think it's... Oh, is Luke Skywalker Star Trek or Star Wars? Oh my God, is this what we're playing? Is this the kind of garbage? Oh my God, I tried to click it.
I'm on a streak.
Hey, good job!
I got one right.
Oh my God, I literally clicked Star Wars or Star Trek because I just have Star Trek in my mind. So you'll see the faster you answer the correct answer, you'll get more points. Ooh, we had Captain James Taku jump in. Oh, so we're just saying if they're from Star Trek or Star Wars this whole time. Okay. We can do this. This shouldn't be too hard. We can get this one, Bill. Captain James T. Kirk, Star Trek, of course. I hope they're not all this easy. But of course, Uncle Buck, Admiral Buck is up at the top. Spock Monster, where you at? Vulcans, Star Trek or Star Wars? I think I know that one. Who are we missing? Come on, we know this one. Live long and prosper. Apparently, we're not the only ones that may not know everything about Star Trek. Because there's a couple that said it was Star Wars. Come on, what are you doing? We got to give Buck at least a challenge, y'all. Wookiees. Okay, I'm about to cancel this quiz. I want some real trivia. I can't do this 20 times. I literally cannot.
Oh, there's 20 of these? Oh my god.
Yeah. We'll do one more after this.
Question? Okay.
We'll find another quiz. Because this is making us dumber the longer we play it. Oh, come on. Who doesn't know Wookiees? Thank you. Good job, team. Okay, last one for this quiz, because this is garbage. I apologize, Bill. I told you I didn't playtest these. Constitution class. That sounds like a ship. Oh, it even shows you the ship.
It's the wrong class ship they're showing, too.
Oh, really? This is garbage.
I know.
You're going to disrespect Bill Krause like this?
I would have just pressed Star Wars. Just on principle.
That is not a Constitution class.
No.
Okay, let's see. Did anybody dethrone Admiral Buck? Of course not. Buck had a streak with 5 correct answers in a row. Great job. But we're getting out of this garbage. We're going to find a more advanced quiz. Okay, here is...
Star Trek Starships.
Where?
Right there.
Oh, there you go. Don't look at the questions. Don't look at the questions. Okay.
Okay. Do I have to enter?
We'll do classic. We might have to do a new pin now. Yeah. Or you could scan again.
All right. Let me scan that again.
But the code, if you're playing at home, is 260-804. Ooh, this has got like a whole trailer with it. Oh, my son. Good. I've been wondering where you went. We've got Boser, Boser's son, Jim T. Kunk, and Buck. Give you a few more seconds to get in on this. I'm ready to get my butt absolutely thrashed. Hopefully this is at least somewhat of a challenge for you.
We'll see.
Are you ready, Bill?
It's got a good video. I'm ready.
Have you seen the new Star Trek movies?
Yeah.
Are you a fan?
Kinda.
Kinda.
I pick and choose what I like out of all Star Trek.
Yeah. You don't like all Star Trek.
Don't have
but
to.
You don't have to.
No.
That's the cool thing.
There's plenty of it. Plenty to go around.
Okay, we got 5 there. There's back. 6. We're going a lot with it. Kahoot at home. Here we go. Star Trek Starships. Sorry if I'm saying everything out loud. It's for the podcast. They can't see. What is this Federation ship called? Oh God.
Oh, it's the A.
What?
Sorry. I clicked I clicked too fast.
Ooh, I heard you. I'm gonna cheat off your paper.
Can I back up?
I think once you accidentally lock one in, you're stuck. It's the Enterprise A. You knew it.
Yeah, I didn't look close enough. I should know this. I just did this. Just built this model.
I'm winning! Only because I heard you say it. And I was like, I guess it's that one. Jeff said, sorry if you answered this already, but do you have a favorite ship? And you were talking about, you said your favorite model was that 4-foot one, but do you have a favorite ship from the show that maybe you've built or not built?
Yeah, I think I like the Enterprise refit I've seen in the motion picture. I think that's always been my favorite version of the Enterprise. But just overall, I think it's just the most beautiful designed starship that they've done.
Nice. I'm gonna have to Google it later, or maybe we're gonna see it here. What Federation starship is this?
You just saw it.
I have no idea. I'm gonna just take a stab into the dark.
I have no control over my.
Uh-oh, did it bump you out?
It just says incorrect. I'm like, okay, but I can't get to the next.
Oh, John also got booted off. Okay, let's hope this next one is there a refresh button? And
I have to I gotta enter the pin again, see if it lets me back.
Oh, so sorry.
260804.
Oh yeah, there you found it at the bottom.
I gotta go all over again. Sorry, that nickname is taken. Yeah, because it's me.
It's you.
You're
you're getting robbed in your best category.
So let me be Buck 2 because they kicked out Buck 1. You'll be able to join soon.
Okay, next. Hopefully after we get this next question. Ooh, Boser's son, Alec, just pulled ahead. Somehow I'm in second place. Poor Buck is getting thrashed by technical difficulties.
I got kicked out and won't let me back in.
It won't let you. We're going to refresh this whole thing. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Get ready. We'll let you in soon.
How about now? What if I go to the next question? Is it going to show you now?
Question 4.
Okay, great.
All right.
Ooh! I think I know what this is.
What's an assault cube?
Oh, it's what I picked? Is that not a thing? A Borg cube, a Borg assault cube, Klingon battleship type 7, or a Borg sphere. Well, it's a big old square. I almost went with Borg cube, but I thought it looked like an angry cube.
Yeah, how do you know what an assault cube is?
Aren't all Borg cubes assault cubes?
You would think.
Ooh, Buck 2 is climbing up the ranks. What Klingon starship is this? Kavort class, D12 class, bird of prey, or a warbird? No idea. I'm taking blind shots in the dark.
You can't.
How confident do you feel?
I'm pretty confident.
Confident. I'm a good guesser.
Did you guess on that?
I did. Guessed blindly. Bird of prey. Ooh, but at least we're all on the board now. Buck 2, go take Boser's son down. What Klingon starship is this? A D6 class, a scout ship, a warbird, or a freighter? I'm going to say it's this.
I see 4 ships. Which one are they talking about?
Well, they all look, except for that little shuttle-y looking one. Those other 3 look similar, right? It's a freighter! I don't know if I somehow soaked in some Star Trek knowledge in my life. Oh, you're on my tail, Buck. Get off my tail. What Federation starship is this? Enterprise F, Intrepid, a Voyager, or Enterprise C?
Well, it could be two of those.
How?
Well, it's the Intrepid class, and it is the Voyager. So, but I can't read the name, so I don't know.
Oh, well, I said Intrepid, but it's wrong because it's technically the Voyager. This is garbage. All these quizzes are garbage. Nothing matters. Ooh, look, none of us got it right because it's a confusing question.
Mm-hmm.
What Federation starship is this? Almost the same thing. Intrepid, Equinox, Enterprise F, or Voyager? I don't know. That one? Jeff Sitz, are you like a low-key really good at Star Wars stuff? I didn't know this about you. No, Jeff Sitz. He's another guy on our channel. Equinox, I was right. I guessed it.
Yeah.
Did you get that one, Bill?
I did. Because it wasn't three of them.
Oh, you're coming closer. I'm going to somehow get this by the skin of my teeth and technical difficulties. What Federation starship is this? Enterprise B, C, D, or E? Oh, God. John said the lag is strong. The options disappear before the question pops up. Oh, I'm sorry, John. Oh, it's Enterprise D. Did you know that one, Bill?
Yes.
Of course you did.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Easy for you.
Wasn't a trick question like the Intrepid Voyager thing.
It's the only way they can get us. What Romulan starship is this? A warbird, hawk class, bird of prey, or raptor class?
I'm guessing on this one.
I am too. So you know the Federation ships much more than the other races.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Raptor class.
Oh, I was right.
Good job.
Pure guess.
I guessed the warbird. I'm falling way behind now. Which starship is this? Veteran class, warbird class, raptor class, Dex class. Dederidex? Is that how you say it? Dederidex? Never heard of it. Dederidex? Well, that's what I guessed. And I was wrong.
So did I. Veteran class? That's not just like a Romulan ship. The veteran class?
They're just making things up. This is like Wikipedia. They can make up anything they want. What Romulan starship is this? Oh, God. Can you build one of those for me, please? A mining vessel, battleship, veteran, or raptor?
Yeah, I'll just get a bunch of knives and tape them together.
Yeah, easy.
Done.
What'd you say before? Like fast and dirty?
Yeah.
It was a mining vessel. Awesome. Sorry, John, for just watching. I bet it's my fault, John. Blame me. I'm going to catch you on one of these, Bill. I just know it. What Federation starship is this? Intrepid, Voyager, Kelvin, or Enterprise? No clue.
Did you see the first Star Trek movie with Chris Pine?
I did. Thoroughly enjoyed it. That was the ship.
That was the Kelvin. Yeah.
See, so many of these.
That was his dad's ship.
Okay, so many of these kind of look. They have very similar shapes and looks to them.
A saucer, yeah.
They all kind of blend together for me, which I'm sure is very offensive to a starship artist like yourself. Okay, is this a Phoenix, Intrepid, Enterprise NX-01, or Enterprise A? Taking guesses. Ooh, I guess correct. I'm sneaking up on you, Buck. Just a few more questions left. Who's going to be at the top?
Yeah.
I never win any of these games. It says Voyager, Nebula, Plasma, or Enterprise NX-01. Guess. Jeff Sitz, what's your nickname on here? I want to know how you're doing. is a nebula. I did not guess that one. But Buck did. And I'm sure it wasn't a guess.
We got that. Yeah, that's the easy one.
Easy one. Easy money. Stop giving him Federation starships. Is this a nebula, Freedom, Excelsior, or Defiant? Oh! If you tilt your head, you can see. It literally says.
It says right on the bottom what it is.
Says.
As well as on the ship.
Yeah. Why use this? Like, they can pick any picture they find on the internet.
They could have cropped that off.
Yeah. Lazy.
Because that's not from the show. That's a Tobias Richter render.
Someone's not getting paid enough to make these Kahoot quizzes.
Yeah. We'll see one of my ships in here.
What if? What Federation is this? A Defiant, Intrepid, Freedom, or Excelsior? I'm trying to remember which one we've had. Because I feel like they wouldn't do it twice, right?
They've not had this before.
This one kind of looks pregnant. Excelsior. I guessed Freedom. Because that one got a little too free and went and got a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Buck, you're pulling way ahead. He's untouchable. What Federation starship is this? Defiant, Intrepid, Delta, Flyer, or Voyager? I don't know if you can tell from the inflection of my voice which one I think it is, because we've had the rest. Yes!
Uh-huh.
It's the only way I'm going to get any of these right. But you're at 115,000 points. Or, no, 11,000 points. I'm at 8,000. Ooh, what alien starship?
Alien.
I have a chance.
Ooh.
I can't even say these fast enough. Guess. Shot in the dark. Well, between the two of them, for me.
Yeah, I don't know what a Borg reclaimer is.
I don't either. Yeah! Oh, good. John's going to give birth to a little shuttle any day now.
Is this the last question?
There's, I think, three last ones here. Enterprise, Enterprise A, Intrepid, or a Falcon.
Falcon.
I feel like we've seen this one before. Courtesy of CBS Studios.
Mm-hmm.
That's what did it for me. I was like, it's got to be the Enterprise then. I need you to get distracted by something for the next two questions, and I have a chance. Freedom, Vengeance, Enterprise F, Enterprise E. Looking for any clues? Anything they should have cropped out, but they didn't? Oh, I see it. I saw it too late. They do have the title at the bottom. They should have cropped it out.
Yeah, it's pretty small, but it's there.
Vengeance. I need a bigger screen. Chat, send some donos so that I can have a bigger screen and win games on this channel for once. Okay, I think last question. You've got a sizable lead. Let's end on a Federation starship. What is it? Ooh. Is it one of your favorites? Could it be?
One of my favorites?
Yeah. You said one of the refits was your favorite. Maybe it wasn't an Enterprise.
It was the motion picture refit.
Ha! I ended on a good guess. And you probably ended on a very solid knowledge. Good job, Jim Kunk. Hey! And of course, coming out in first.
Buck 2.
If only you could beat Buck 1.
Whatever happened to him?
He's probably trying to create models as good as yours. Coming up short.
One of my clones.
Uh-huh. Jim, great job. Of course, I should have known and expected nothing less.
It was rigged. I picked the quiz anyway, so, you know.
Yeah. But it's so fitting. I'm so glad that you saw that because I missed it.
Yeah.
Did you have a good time tonight, Bill?
Well, of course. Did you?
Yes. I just love to hear you geek out about this thing that you've been doing for your entire life and you're still not tired of it and you're still nowhere near.
Not tired of it. I know.
I think that's amazing. And I just hope that somebody in the chat tonight was feeling so inspired enough by what you've said and just your energy and the motivation to keep going. And you are living proof that if you geek out hard enough about something, even a hobby, you can literally make a career.
Yeah, you can. I think if you eat right, take your vitamins, and get lucky, yeah. And post on Instagram, because that's where they'll see you. No, I don't know.
Right. At this point, social media is all just rigged.
I know. Because that's how I got noticed. It was on Instagram. That's how they contacted me. It was through Instagram. And it's like, really? Wow.
You never know. You got to use those hashtags.
You never know. Yeah.
That's where they find you. Like hashtag replace Boser with Bill. They already want to kick me off the show and just hang out with you every week.
Ah. It's like I start my own show.
Yep. This is your show now.
But I can be your new sidekick.
You've now inherited this problem. I'm leaving this mess to you. I'm out. It's all you from now on.
Boser 2. Boser 2 over here.
Here we go. Now it's your baby.
I don't know how this thing works. Back to you. This is what sidekicks do. They bounce it back to you.
There we go. Well, if you guys enjoyed it, come back next Monday when we have a brand new geek guest hanging out with us here on... Actually, no, next Monday's Halloween. So we're not doing a show. Y'all should stay at home, hand out candy, enjoy time with your family, get dressed up, go to a party, go TP someone's house, get off the internet for a minute.
Right.
That's what we decided to do.
Geek outside.
Geek outside. Go outside. Go get some candy. But on Sunday, the day before, is going to be our Halloween collab with Let's Get Rollin', and we're going to do a Halloween one-shot. The T is going to DM or GM if it's Monster of the Week, and it's classic scary campground, and an eclectic bunch of us have brought some wild-ass characters to the table, and I am excited to do one of these live because you guys been getting pre-recorded sessions for so long. So I'm excited to do one live. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to have some good time. Check it out. Sunday, right here, I think we're hosting that session. And then Wednesday, T will be back here live, and Thursday, another episode of City of Mist. But Bill, if you could say one final word to anybody that maybe was watching you tonight and wanted to do what you're doing or wanted to pursue their passion, what is one last piece of advice that you might tell them?
Don't stop. Put it out there. You know, keep going, because it will be noticed if you if your heart's in it and you've got a passion for your art and you share it, then people will see it. Hopefully, be inspired by it as well. And I think that's the ultimate goal right there. Is if you could inspire other people through your art, for them to create their own. So just keep doing.
And you'll probably never know the thousands and thousands of people that you've inspired through your lifetime by creating your art. I don't want to know. So thank you for sharing your art, and thank you for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Absolutely. We end the show every time by saying, "I'm Boser. Who are you?"
I'm Boser. Who are you?
And
right?
Yeah, you nailed it. Yep. We practiced this. And I'm going to say, you just keep geeking out, and you say geeking out with me, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Geeking out with me.
And you just keep geeking out.
Geeking out with me.
With me.
With me.
And you.
And me. And you.
Stick around for the raid. We're raiding Super Snips. Good night. Love you all.